So, you've got these massive dreams, right? You can clearly picture the exact life you want, and inside your head, your goals are so incredibly vivid they almost feel real. But the moment it's actually time to sit down and do the hard work, you just freeze. You tell yourself, okay, tomorrow I'll definitely get my act together, but then tomorrow comes and you do the exact same thing all over again. If this sounds painfully familiar to you, don't worry, you are in exactly the right place for this explainer. Just take a second and really reflect on your own internal monologue. Why is it that our biggest, most exciting dreams so often lead to absolutely zero action? It's a completely frustrating paradox. You know you're deeply ambitious. Your head is full of brilliant, game-changing ideas. And yet, you find yourself totally stuck in this state of laziness. And honestly, what hurts the most is knowing deep down that you are capable of so much more. You just can't seem to make yourself move.
Let's be honest, this creates a cycle that plays out every single day, and it is painfully relatable. We've all been there. Morning hits, you wake up highly motivated thinking, yes, today is the day. But then, you grab your phone. Just to scroll for a few minutes, right? Suddenly, it's midday and half the day is totally gone. You promise yourself you'll buckle down after lunch, but then that post-lunch lethargy hits you like a truck. Nighttime arrives and you're lying in bed filled with this intense guilt and self-disappointment, swearing up and down you'll be different tomorrow. And the cycle just repeats itself.
Okay, stop right there because I need you to hear this loud and clear. This inability to act, it is not because you're a bad person. It's not because you aren't smart enough. And it's certainly not because you lack talent. It is absolutely not a character flaw. It's biology. What you're experiencing is a deeply ingrained psychological pattern that's formed inside your brain over a long period of time. And the really good news? Literally any pattern can be broken once you understand how it actually works. So, we need to understand what's actually happening up there. Think of it like a war inside your head. One side of your brain wants to achieve great, amazing things. But the other side, the older, more primal side, operates entirely in survival mode. This biological mechanism interprets the massive effort, the uncertainty, and the potential failure of your big goals as a literal threat to your safety. Human brains are just naturally wired to avoid pain and seek pleasure. So when your brain sees a difficult, uncomfortable task, it sounds the alarm. It tries to protect you by violently steering you toward instant comfort.
And this survival mechanism drops you right into what's called the dopamine trap. When your brain sees your goal as a threat, it immediately hands you an easy way out. Check your phone, watch a quick video, boot up a game. And the very second you do that, boom, your brain releases dopamine. You get this instant hit of temporary happiness, and all that uncomfortable pressure of having to do hard work just vanishes. But here is the massive danger in that. Your brain just learned that avoiding work equals happiness. It is literally rewarding you for running away.
Look, this brings us to a really heavy reality. Every single time you choose that temporary comfort, you are actively training your brain that your dreams just aren't that important. While your brain thinks it's doing you a favor by saving you from short-term discomfort, it is actually stealing your long-term future. It's wild, right? And that intense, heavy guilt you feel at night, that's just reinforcing a false, toxic belief that you are unworthy of success. If you don't step in and intervene, it becomes a vicious, unbreakable loop.
This actually shatters a pretty massive myth. You might be sitting there right now thinking, I just need more motivation. If I just get motivated, I'll do it. But motivation is just a fleeting feeling. It comes and it goes. You absolutely cannot build a life on a feeling. What highly successful people have isn't some magical, endless well of motivation. It's discipline. And discipline isn't a genetic trait you're just born with. It is built. It's built through daily small decisions, structures, and solid systems.
Oh, and we have to talk about another huge roadblock here, perfectionism. We love to trick ourselves into thinking that waiting for the perfect moment or mapping out the perfect plan means we have really high standards. It doesn't. Perfectionism is literally just fear wearing a mask. It's a very clever excuse your brain uses to prevent you from ever starting. Because think about it, if you never actually start, you can comfortably sit in this safe little illusion that you could have succeeded. You're just protecting your ego from the harsh reality that you might try your absolute hardest and still fail.
And that brings up a major psychological reframe. Society tells us this myth that the opposite of success is failure. But the absolute truth, the opposite of success is inaction. If you try and you fail, you actually learn something, right? You gather real data. But if you do nothing, you learn absolutely nothing. Every single highly successful person you look up to hasn't avoided failure. They have failed thousands of times more than the person who never took any action. They just weren't afraid to take messy,
imperfect steps. So how do we actually break this cycle? Well, it starts with a bitter truth that we all just have to accept. Ready? You will never feel like doing it. You are never going to wake up with this overwhelming magical surge of energy to do the hard, boring, tedious work. Your brain is simply not wired that way. You have to take action exactly when you don't want to. By forcing yourself to do the work when you are exhausted or completely unwilling, you are actively rewiring your brain to understand that discomfort is not a physical danger.
And how exactly do you do that? You start ridiculously small, like 15 minutes small. Just make a deal with yourself right now to do 15 minutes of work, or tell yourself you'll write just a single paragraph. The size of the task literally doesn't matter right now. What matters is that you do it today, then you do it tomorrow, and you do it again the next day. You are not trying to be perfect here. You are just trying to build the momentum of consistent, imperfect action so you can finally flex that discipline muscle.
But listen, relying entirely on sheer willpower is a total losing game. You will run out of it. You must redesign your environment. Your surroundings dictate your behavior way more than you probably think. So turn off every single notification. Put your phone in a completely different room so you can't even see it. Clean up that messy desk because a cluttered physical space creates a cluttered mind. You have to fiercely protect your scheduled focus time. By removing the distractions from your environment, you dramatically reduce the number of exhausting decisions your brain has to make, which frees up all that energy for your actual goals.
All right, time for a little tough love directly from our source material here. Stop consuming and start doing. Watching endless explainer videos about success, listening to another productivity podcast, or reading your 10th self-help book of the year, it makes you feel like you're moving forward. But a lot of the time, it's a lie. It is just another sneaky, highly sophisticated way your brain avoids doing the actual tedious work. You already know what you need to do. Stop searching for more information and start executing.
And hey, when you do finally start executing, remember this. Your first attempts are going to be bad. Seriously, just accept your bad work. Every single master was once a stumbling beginner. Every single masterpiece you've ever admired in your life started out as a messy, ugly, uncoordinated draft. Do not obsess over the quality when you are just starting out. You have to prioritize consistency over everything else. You just need to get the engine running.
Now look, progress is never a straight line. You're human, you are going to mess up, and you are going to have lazy days. When that happens, you face a choice between self-hate and self-compassion. Lying in bed, hating yourself, and wallowing in guilt, it only makes the cycle worse. It just adds dead weight to your shoulders. Instead, you need radical self-compassion. Forgiving yourself is what actually lets you drop that heavy baggage so you can try again tomorrow. Seriously, talk to yourself the exact same way you would support a best friend who just made a mistake.
This next point is absolutely vital for how you view yourself going forward. Laziness is an action. It is not an identity. You are not inherently a lazy person. Laziness is literally just a habitual action you've taken to avoid feeling uncomfortable. That's the whole shebang. Beneath that habit is a highly capable, driven person with real vision and real talent. Your past pattern of avoiding difficult things does not define who you are, and it certainly doesn't dictate what you can become starting today.
So, we're leaving you with one final, incredibly powerful truth. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to rescue you from yourself. You are the only person on this entire planet who can break this cycle. Yes, it's going to be hard. No, it won't be comfortable. But the person you've always wanted to be is waiting for you right on the other side of that discomfort. So what is one tiny action you can take the exact second this explainer ends? Stop planning your life and start building it.